Changing minds one thought at a time.
Good evening, everyone. To the Changing Minds Online Empowering Women series. How are you doing tonight, Akina?
I am great, Jessica. How about yourself?
I'm doing amazing, and one of the reasons I am so excited about tonight is because we have a really powerful woman on our Empowering Women series tonight, someone who's really near and dear to my heart. I don't know if she remembers this story, but I'm going to tell you the story of how we first met. So her and I are part of the same network marketing company, and when I went to one of my first network marketing events, the big events with the company, they had done this charity workout. So they had done it for Make-A-Wish, and you paid and you got to go to this workout with an amazing celebrity trainer, and it was super, super fun. Now, I like to be the best at everything, and I had already kind of decided I was going to be a good athlete. So I was trying to be the best at everything, and this person was in front of me, and she was doing better at the workouts than me, and it really bothered me. So I was trying to compete with her and keep up with her, and I've done a lot of mindset work since then, so I no longer do that type of thing. And part of it was actually this funny story of how I found out who I was competing against. It turns out that the woman that I was competing against to be a better athlete than is a two-time gold medalist for Team USA, the kettlebell sport world champion, and an elite coach and trainer with over 20 years professional experience in the fitness industry. So I didn't have a chance or a prayer. Now, I didn't know that at the time. It wasn't until later on in the event, later on that day, I actually saw her on stage being announced as a celebrity who uses our products and just someone who has done amazing things. And I started to laugh and say, okay, I get it now. I'm not supposed to be in the spirit of competition. And I really looked up to this person for a long time, and it's really been a privilege and honor to get to know her. And it's really, really my deepest pleasure to bring Valerie Pawlowski on our call tonight. Valerie, how you doing?
Oh, sensational. Thank you so much, Jessica. I'm really excited to be on.
Absolutely. Do you remember that story of how we first met? I think I might have told you about a year ago when that first happened.
I do. It's funny now that you mention it. I do.
Well, you've taught me a lot of lessons since then, and I just really am grateful for you being here with us today. And I've come to know you and just find you're a really amazing and humble woman with such a really great story and such a really great mindset, someone who I know I've personally been very attracted to follow. And I wanted to start off the call tonight. I know that oftentimes people look at people like you and they say, okay, well, this person is just really amazing, and you've done amazing things, right? You've won 2 gold medals. And they say, okay, what is it, right? What is it that made this person different? Were you just born different? Were you born with these natural talents? And I know that you've told me, well, what is different is my mindset, that I have the mindset of a champion. And I wanted to just welcome you and invite you to discuss a little bit about what that is and why that's so important to you, and why, people like me and many other people are so attracted to who you are and what you're doing.
Thank you. I do have a few reasons why and how this culminates into the age that I'm at now, too, to bring the dream and reality of participating in the sport that is so challenging and being on Team USA to represent our country. But I will backtrack, and the basis and foundation of it truly lies in childhood, when a parent tells you, my mom specifically always would encourage me to say that I could do anything. And I believed her. I took that to heart, to meaning the will to do, or the power and strength of applying myself and doing anything and putting my heart and determination in it. I could accomplish goals. I could set my sights on things that I would see. And now that brings to mind the same as you're seeing me, and people see me for what I can do and what I've developed into my ability with determination and consistent effort. And then there was also a side to it where she said, if there was something that I didn't want to do, I didn't have to do it. There was not going to be any force or push on their part to make me do any kind of athletics. It was by a choice. If something didn't sit well with me. Like I'll give you, for instance, I tried out for cross country, and I was crying because it was just so freaking difficult to try and breathe and get out there. And I said, I don't think this is for me. So that was the one. I don't know if I would call it a fail. I made the attempt and just found that it wasn't something suitable for me. And I did find from a very young age being strong physically also exuded into a strength and a confidence and a feeling of joy and fulfillment to have ability. And to have ability now, and where it comes from that I do the things that I do, is not in the necessary sense of trying to be better than someone else or compete. I'm only in competition with myself for what I put out there for my accomplishments and set goals, but also to serve as an example, because anytime when I can accomplish something and step back and look at it and say, wow, I did that, and it amazes me to realize that ability. And I think that I receive so many messages and feedback from responses of people who see me, watch me, or follow me to come to relate to that. They look at that and they say, wow, maybe I could do that. Wow, someday, or give it a try or a shot. And I'm not afraid to also show my shortcomings or failures or challenges, and it's taken me a long time. I will share my age. I'm 52 years old, and at 52 years old to be blessed with the determination and drive, definitely the nutrition that I follow I'm grateful for, because it's helping me every step of the way as I age, and the mindset. I will attempt or look for whoever else might be out there that is capable in doing something, but it doesn't bother me that the world champion is a 26-year-old Russian woman. I will say that I want to beat her in what she can do, because if she can do it, I believe I can do it.
Wow. That is awesome. You know, you have inspired a lot of people with just that one statement. And I know that you've been going through with this mindset of the champion, but was it always that way? I mean, really, did you ever have a story where, you know, you didn't really have that mindset of the champion, and then all of a sudden it just shifted? Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, I will. I love this question, and this is for everyone out there on every level, because I think that so many people go through it, and it's a shake in your self-confidence. And it happened at a very young age in grade school, being very popular, again, being enthusiastic and charismatic, being a leader of games and fun out on the playground and things of that nature. All of a sudden, one day, a group of kids decided to gang up on me and just for whatever reason talk about me, say things that hurt my feelings, and kind of push me out of the group. And I found myself very, very startled and unaware of why or what. And you could say it's today's modern day bullying, and was isolated because I don't think that my parents or the school knew how to deal with it, and their way of dealing with it was to take me off the playground during recess and put me in a classroom to sit and assist a teacher. From that point on, I think building up of anger or resentment against some of these people that they were my friends, but then they turn on you. And these emotions then begin to seep into and break and shake your confidence. But I have to say that emerging out of it and going into high school, turning to sports and athletics, then in a more organized, higher level fashion than just grade school, I did go out for the softball team, and making the team was one step in that right direction, playing well, being part of another community, and building friendships that started a whole new blossoming chapter in my life. And I think that in a similar way, some of this might happen out in the world of business as well. And one thing came to me to realize that strength and your health and your body and what you do to take care of yourself, that you own. No one can steal it from you. You can't borrow it. You can't buy it. You can only build it yourself, take care of yourself, and make yourself the best person that you can be. So the same blood runs through all our veins. No one is different, but what you can do and be with your own body to carry on in life is more important to start with that point than all these other excessive things that press in on you and, you know, invade your mental space. So you have to protect that.
You know what I love about it is that when something happens to someone, and especially when it involves another person, and Akina and I, right, we both have our stories, and you have your story, and a lot of people out there have their stories. The difference between some people who want to be successful and us is that we decided that we're going to be victors rather than victims. You know, I think part of being a champion is understanding, like you said, is that nobody can take your power. No one can take it. That if anyone is making you feel bad, if anyone's making you feel hurt, anything anyone says or does stops you from doing something, it's because you gave them your power, not because they took your power. And I think that to a large degree, choosing to be a victor in a situation plays a large role in developing that champion mindset. And to me, it relates a lot to responsibility. So, Valerie, would you be able to talk a little bit about that and what role really taking responsibility for your life and understanding that you are your source of strength and power, you know, where does that come from and what role does that play for you in everything you've accomplished?
Well, again, when you just take where I'm at today, I have a coach. My coach does not stand over me all the time. My coach tells me what is required. Now, this is my kettlebell sport coach. He is the best in the world, so I would not waste his time nor waste my time. And when I decided this was the pathway to take and the determination, there are no off days. I committed, and making up your mind to put yourself out there and stick with it is very vital. No one's going to lift the kettlebell for me. He's not going to get me there other than telling me what I need to do and knowing what I'm capable of and having the precise formula for what I will do to come to a success point. And it's the same in the realm of a business success coach that I have as well. The people that are emphasizing the things that you need to do in your life or that are the direction and the way, you have to pick up, step up, and go do the do. And that, I mean, from a responsibility standpoint, I think just from an early age, I've had all older brothers and sisters, and seeing and watching and taking that in as they've gone on their pathway to life, I realized I had to be very strong in the fact of if whatever comes in life, I need to be responsible for myself and take care of myself.
You know what? I have to applaud you for that one right there. You know, you said something that was so powerful. You said there's no off days. I have the best coach in the world, so I'm not going to waste his time. I'm not going to be off. And you know what? That is part of the mindset of the champion. You know, you said, I have decided this is what I'm going to do, and I'm going to make it happen no matter what. And a lot of people sometimes miss that mark, that dedication, that perseverance, that peace that makes us say, wow, this is it. We are not, there's no off days. There's no craziness. We are going to do this no matter what. So, I mean, that touched me greatly when you said that. So when you're working with people and you see them starting to slip, so to speak, what do you say to them to bring them back to the mindset of the champion?
A reawakening of where it all began, what was the purpose, the reasons behind their picking up and beginning to, whether it's fitness, nutrition, coaching for the sport, and how we're both going to readjust and see it through. Because if I'm coaching and working with people, if they're going to quit or they're going to fail, I am. When I see something not working for them and they're going to jump off the bridge, I'm jumping with them. We're in it together. We're hand in hand. So there is no jumping off the bridge. So that's the first thing. So we reel it back in. We reassess. We establish our game plan, and we reignite that fire and desire and work with the discipline again to go onward. There's always going to be plateaus or difficulties in life that are going to interfere. I've had people that I've worked with now for 20 years. And again, it's an ebb and flow, but all the while and always to this day, absolutely I can say better than day one or all the days in between, which is a very rewarding experience when you work with someone for that extent of time.
Bella, I have the really privilege of getting to know you and really knowing everything that you've done and accomplished. One of the things that I admire about you the most is that you are still really going after everything, and that no matter where you wound up, and you wound up right first in the world, you wound up literally being the world champion in kettlebells. There was seemingly to some people no bigger or better place to go. And you still pursue more. And I remember the last time I met you, and I said, last time I saw you, and I said, what's going on? How are you doing? And this is that. And you said, okay, well, I'm going to get even more. I'm coming back with more medals next time. And I said, wow, this is a person who's really, truly amazing, who really gets it, that you can create your life and that you get to figure out what's possible. For those of us who don't know, or anyone listening that doesn't know, what was it like at that moment where you achieve that amazing result, and why still continue? Why still continue growing? Why still continue achieving?
Well, it was astounding. It was astounding. The first gold medal last year, actually the year before that, because it was 2015. That was the second one. And again, the opportunity. I actually had the opportunity to come back with 2 gold medals last year after the first year. So I really was striving and working and dedicated to do that. And it's not about the medals. It's about what it represents and what's possible. And again, at my age, what's possible for me and how things keep continuing to getting better, improved, and the capability that I have, I don't take it for granted. I'm not just going to toss it to the side. It's in me to strive for more. And whether it's just more in a training basis that each time I step up to work out, and I've done that, I've achieved that in a few years, or whether it is going up against whoever or whatever those numbers may be to outlast and outdo what I did before, and then certainly what anyone else can or will do at that moment, so that you arise or become the champion. I think it's very important to use the full potential that you're given, and that's why I say, I don't know, I'm 52, at 60, 70, 80, it's in me. I have fun doing it. It's like being a kid again. You get to play. So there's some of that and a lot of joy and reward from it. And again, the reinforcement from seeing other people that pick up whatever it is. It doesn't necessarily have to be kettlebell, but anything that someone says that, you know what, I went out and I did this. I watched you and I saw what you could do, and it was inspiring, and I'm doing this, or I got this medal, or I came in whatever place. That's tremendous.
Yes, Yes. You know, I was just thinking as you were speaking, what qualities does it take to have the mindset of a champion? Have you ever asked yourself that? I mean, I would love to know what you think about that.
I fortunately have met some very elite athletes and can relate to their experiences. And hearing their experiences, then I know I can follow in those footsteps. One of the biggest things are the plan and the visualization of the outcome. So seeing it in your head, stating it, believing it so that you will achieve it. You have to have it in your head. And if there's any bit or small part of doubt, it's a small opening that can just spread. And a couple of years ago when I was going out to California for an attempt at candidate for Master of Sport, I was going out there and so excited just to take the trip to go out west and be at this event because it's wonderful. I was asked by my business partner, she said, so I guess you're pretty confident you're going to get CMS? And I said, oh, wow, I didn't even really think of it. But all matters considered, yes, this is it. It has to happen. And I really left no room and never let anything but you're going to do this to the death. You're not going to worry about passing out. You're not going to worry about any of the other aspects. You're only concentrate on this is going to happen today. And it totally did. It absolutely did. And there was not 1 ounce or inkling in my mind of other than success. And that was a true turning point to then pursue onward to the greater endeavors that was Master of Sport and then the gold medals. So there is no turning back, or there is no room for these things that could be what if or interruptions in what you see as the big ultimate outcome.
I love that, Valerie. And one of the things I know I've shared with you is that and a lot of people listening to the podcast already know my story because I've shared it several times. When I first decided to run, it was because my doctors told me that I might not be able to walk. And I had said, no, I'm going to run 30 marathons by 30. And at the time, I had only run 1 or 2. I had run 2 marathons at that point. And everyone has told me, and everyone continues to tell me, this isn't possible. You can't do this. The body doesn't work that way. I'm running 10 marathons in 10 days. And everyone says, this is just not going to happen. And it really is knowing, like you said, that whatever anyone says, and I always tell people the same thing. I said, it may not be true for you. You might not be able to do it, but watch me. You don't know who I am. I know who I am, and I know what I can do. And even in that moment when I had first made that choice in the very beginning, I made it with conviction. I made it with power, with intention. And I said, no, this is what's going to happen. And, for me it was, some people may think, okay, well, this is a traumatic experience. There was no trauma around it because I never believed it to be true. And I said, no, this is not what's going to happen. I'm going to run. And it really is that sense of conviction, that sense that you've already won. And I truly believe that we are powerful beyond our wildest imaginations, that we do get to create our life, that we have the power to speak life into anything, and we have the power to speak life into existence. So when we talk about, and it's really, words are powerful, words are important. When we talk about what we want and what we're going to do, that's really the first step in really getting it. And for me, it's one of the most important parts. And it's one of the hardest parts for a lot of people because you really give away your belief in your words. And if you don't believe it, it's not going to happen. And that's one of the things that I truly believe in. I know we talk about a lot on our show. So thank you so much for coming on as a guest today. And you've taught me so much. I was taking notes, and it was just amazing to even hear your story again. And there's things you said for the first time I haven't heard. So thank you so much for being here. It really was a privilege and honor to have you as a guest.
Oh, you're so welcome. Thank you for having me. It was such an honor, and I excited a lot of people to tune in and get the information on your show, which is wonderful.
Absolutely, thank you. Now, if anything, if you had to give one takeaway to anyone who was listening tonight, what would that be?
Where there's a will, there's a way.
I love that.
That's what I've lived my life by. If I want to, I will.
I love it. That's really powerful. And Akina, is there anything you want to add before we close down our show for tonight?
Oh, yes. Thank you so much, Miss Valerie, for coming on the show. This was my first time hearing your story, and I was truly touched. So thank you so much for being here tonight.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you for having me. It's good to meet you.
Yeah, same here. And if Valerie said something tonight that resonated with you, please, please, please check out this podcast on ChangeYourMindsOnline.com. We're also on iTunes, Stitcher, Tuned In, and, of course, our YouTube channel. So come, listen, and listen again.
Well, guys, I always like to end my portion of the call the same way and just let you know, we love you. We are so grateful for you, and we're thankful that you allow us to be part of your journey of personal growth as we share ours. And, we believe in you. Make it a really powerful week. God bless. Valerie, thank you again for being on our show. It was an honor. For those of you tuning in, if maybe it's your first time, we have another call on Sunday nights. It's our Empowering Faith series. We have our call on Tuesday nights, our Empowering Mindset series. So we look forward to talking to you guys then. Have a great night, everybody.
All right. Good night.
Good night, everyone.